Coach Ira Schofel, warchant.com. Did you have much familiarity with Coach Norvell or many people on the staff, or kind of if you could just take us through the process for how you ended up here?
Yeah, you know, Coach, it's funny as you grow in the profession. I think you're always just one or two guys away from Coach, and we had a lot of mutual ties, especially from my time at Arizona State. You know, worked with a lot of coaches that worked with him, and then I think I tried to hit him up one time when he was at Memphis about a position job or something like that. I think I was at San Diego State at the time, but you're always just a couple of degrees of separation from a coach, and I always watch his success in his career, and so when you know, this opportunity came, it came up so last minute and just out of the blue that you know, I thought it was an opportunity that I had to take. You know, that it was just you just couldn't pass it up.
Brendan on your left.
Hi, Tony. Brendan Sano with Knowles 24/7. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You mentioned this being an opportunity that you couldn't pass up. I guess what specifically about this opportunity was so appealing?
Yeah, I mean, again, you talk about Florida State. You talk about one of the true great historic football programs, and then obviously what just happened in a couple of years ago, them giving themselves a chance to be in the mix for a national championship. You know, and so again, you take the area and the young men that you're able to recruit down here. I think, you know, some of the best football players in the country are from this area regionally, and then just the way coaches put stuff together down here. I think that this is truly a place. You know, I walked through the building, and me and T. Knight and Coach Coop were walking through, and I read off the ACC championships, and it was unbelievable. I mean, it was like 93, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was just going off, and I'm like, that is truly something different, you know. And so just the ability to be down here, be able to recruit the talent we're recruiting down here, the way Coach Norvell has put together this staff, and the way he's been shown to do things, the success that Florida State has had in the past and just recently, I think this is a place that will do it all again.
Chris.
Hi, Coach. Chris Neal with Knowles 24/7 as well. How would you describe your defense and what you do to hamper the opponent?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is always the players. You know, I think you can get kind of pigeonholed in saying I run this and I do this. And the great thing, you know, about the experience at Nebraska and under Coach Rule was we're always trying to figure out the way to incorporate all the personnel and all the talent that you had. You know, and so when I coming over here and looking at the roster, there's some really talented individuals here. You know, some really good football players, some really good young men as I get to know them. And so we're gonna be multiple. We're gonna put the guys in the best positions possible to go out there and let them play really fast and not confuse, be really physical, be really aggressive. The things that Coach Norvell wants, and really just kind of tailor what we do to the players that we have and the players coming in.
Stay on your left here, second row.
Hey, how you doing, Coach? Gerald Thomas, Dallas Democrat.
JT, good to see you.
Hey, always.
You a Braves fan?
I'm from Georgia.
Bro, you get that hat once with me though. Okay,
Twins.
Yankees. You know what I'm saying? New York. Got you.
But Coach, you coming from Nebraska, a team that had a very dominant defense, top 20 in the nation, a team that could force turnovers, a team that can stop the run. Those are things that Florida State specifically struggled with this past season. How do you translate those things from Nebraska down here to Florida?
Great question. You know, the no matter what scheme you run, truly believe in, number one, the process of which, right? The process of which you do things and the pathways you give to the guys to go do those things that you want to do. So we got to set a vision of what it's supposed to look like for the guys, right? So this is how we are going to play. And then everything you do has to translate into that success, right? Because if you can talk about being as physical as you want, but if you don't practice that way and you don't prepare that way, you ain't gonna be physical, right? You can talk about playing with so much effort, but if you don't demand it on the field, it's not gonna happen. So you have to set this vision of how you want things to be, and then you gotta give the guys a pathway and a process to which to get there. And in doing so, when you invest in the process, that builds confidence. And, you know, confidence is not walking around saying, you know, looking good and pretty in the mirror. Confidence is knowing that you put in the work and you put in the time and you put in the effort and the strain to put yourself in a position to go get what you want. And if we can get the guys there to believe in the process and to really embrace the process and do those things and give them a pathway to see that vision, I think we'll have a lot of success.
Jordan?
Hey Coach, Jordan Silversmith, Tomahawk Nation. Kind of a two-part question for you. You mentioned having some of your former assistants in your previous institution being here. How important is that for your defense? And also, how do you plan on filling out the rest of the defensive staff? What are the conversations like between you, Coach Norvell, and the administration right now?
Yeah, it's crazy that we were all over there at the last school together, and the things we were able to do, the experience we were able to give the young men in that locker room, it worked, right? We really successful on defense, but more so you saw the development, you saw it on the grass, how the guys played together, how physical they were, how much fun they were having, and so it kind of separated. And now with this opportunity coming up, it's just crazy. Football is that kind of world where had the chance to bring them with me over here, provide them the opportunity to come here and join, because they see what it's like. We were in the trenches together, with T Knight and Coop, and then you add in some of the guys who are here as well. Some of the young guys, some of the old veteran guys. I mean, Paps and Sims and all those guys. So really it comes down to teaching, comes down to believing in what we're going to do, and us being in the room together and going through the fire together and things like that. And so it was really lucky to be able to have those guys come over here to ease the transition, speed it up a little bit. And so the other positions and all that will come to fruition here as Coach sees fit, so.
Bob, right side.
Coach Bob Frank with the Osceola. I'm curious, fundamentally going back early in your career, why does a 3-3-5 make sense foundationally, philosophically? And I think also we've seen, you do run a lot of 4 defensive linemen, so you're multiple. How do you know when to do what, or is it just giving offenses different looks?
Great question there. I think the 3-3-5 traditionally has been in places where it was a little harder to get defensive linemen. So really the first introduction to a place being able to recruit really good defensive fronts was Nebraska. And that was the first place where, again, just sitting back and listening and with Coach Rule's vision and all that stuff, being able to come up with different ways to attack an offense. That's the thing. We're playing defense, but really you want to attack an offense and make it really difficult on them, right? So putting together different packages, seeing the success in having certain individuals and certain packages and how that is beneficial to you. So I think the 3-3-5 just in its shell has been very easy to teach, and it's been very easy to give multiple looks, different personnel packages, get guys in the game in different spots to where they can really hone in on what they do well. And again, just attack an offense in an untraditional way. The offenses are too smart now. I mean, you saw the offensive coordinator. The guy's been a head coach and a successful one. Like these guys are too smart for you to sit there in one front and one defense the whole game and just think that you're just gonna physically beat them like that. I mean, that doesn't happen. I mean, you look at Georgia, Oregon, all them like that, and you see them jumping in different fronts, stemming, different personnel packages, different coverages. I mean, you see all that variety in there. So a lot of the defense is used across the country. I mean, it's just disguised different ways. And so we're gonna do that here. You got some elite talent that is in the building and that you can go and get readily right here in your own backyard. You got obviously the new facilities is gonna be some of the game changer in terms of what we're able to provide for the student athletes. That's gonna be something special. So we can attract some of the best young men, student athletes, football players in the country. So it's gonna be cool to kind of put together the things to let them go and play ball and have some success.
Ira?
Well, we've been able to get a sense of Coach Knighton's personality on social media a little bit, in watching interviews with Coach Cooper through the years. What can you tell us about them as coaches? Like it's not like you've worked with them for years and years. What impressed you about them at Nebraska?
The relationship, that's as you get older, and I don't see myself as being like old like that, but You know, I guess I'm older, you know, but I guess the times where you have the most fun is when you've had the best relationships with the guys. I mean, because then you see their investment, they see your investment, and it's like a partnership, right? And those two individuals and the way they connect with their groups and the way, you know, I used to see Coach Coop. I used to see Coach Coop get up at, you know, 4 o'clock, be in the weight room and be on the field to help guys, you know, with footwork drills that wanted, you know, they didn't feel right about their footwork. And he used to be up there helping them out. I mean, like that. Their investment in the young men, I think, really stands out. And then us collectively coming together for the first time, you know, at my old school and being able to put a product together on the grass where the young men really made it their own, really went out there and they played so hard, and those guys played so physical, and guys who were, you know, backups and guys who were really rotational players and maybe didn't even play got a chance to go in there and become stars on the grass. You know what I mean? So just that investment in the young men that really bonded me with those guys, and then the being able to have the same kind of vision for what it looks like on the grass. You know, I think those are the two most important things.
Have time for a couple more. Chris in the front row.
Coach, what have you learned about the defensive personnel that you're getting as you come through the door here?
Yeah, I mean, very athletic. I mean, especially you look at the back end, and those guys can fly around. Those guys can cover. You know, it's kind of cool because in my meetings, you know, I have fresh eyes. I don't know what they can do, so I don't know who they are. I don't know any of their profile. All I see are guys running around, you know, and so I see a lot of talent. I see a lot of talent in the back end. Whether they're experienced or not, you know, that comes with it, right? You can't say somebody's not experienced and then not play them, right? You got to play them. I mean, that's just the way it goes. So experience comes with the trust and the process and all that stuff. So they got some athletes in the back end. Up front again, I think we're going to be younger. I mean, it obviously hurts when you lose the Twin Towers in there. You know, I didn't realize how big of individuals they were. You know, you see them on the paper, all 6'6", whatever, and then you shake their hand, you're like, oh my Lord, like this is ridiculous. You guys were playing with these guys, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. But you know, it hurts that, but it's really cool because this is their dream, right? To go to the NFL. This is what you play ball for and all that stuff. So it was good to see them fulfill that part of it. But up front, I think they're going to be young, but again, extremely athletic. And at backer too, you're gonna have a chance to see some young guys and some guys really blossom into good college football players. So see a lot of potential back there. See a lot of athleticism. See a lot of guys who, same thing like Nebraska, a lot of guys who maybe played but not played a lot. You know, and it's going to be our job to make sure we provide them everything they need to go out there and play fast and physical.
We'll do two more. Brenda.
Looking at the Nebraska depth chart, there's a couple of positions with traditional names, Jack and then Rover. I guess what are those two roles in your defense? And I guess is there like a prototypical player that you, or skill set that you look at for those roles? Yeah, the football part of it we're still putting together because I want to see what is here and what the names are. You know, traditionally when we've moved places, we've had names for those safety spots. You know, the Jack used to just be an end, and then usually the Rover safety ended up being, like, it was the Aztec when we were at San Diego State. It was the Tillman when we were at Arizona State. You know, I had these specialty names because that player was a little different. So have not dived in much to the football part of it because of the time, right? Getting all the coaches over here and then recruiting, right? And not only recruiting the guys, you know, the transfer portal guys and finishing up signing day, but your roster, right? Your roster right now is valuable. You know what I mean? There are guys who are getting called on to go and get paid more money. So there's a lot going on recruiting wise that needs the attention first. And then once that slows down, then we'll concentrate on the football aspects and getting everybody together and getting those roles solidified with all the coaches and all that stuff. So
We'll end it with Peter here.
Coach Peter Holland, Tallahassee Democrat.
see.
What are some things that you didn't know about Florida State before you came here that you didn't realize until you actually spoke to Michael Bell once you learned more about the program?
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea they were building a new facility. Like, I'm like, oh, what's that building right there? Oh, it's our new facility. I'm like, great. What do you mean new facility? You know, that's a game changer because I just came from I just came from Nebraska, and again, I mean, Troy Dan AD, Haven AD, and Matt, you know, the vision of that building and seeing it for the first time and walking in there, complete game changer. Like, I mean, just when you get families or recruits there and they see like, wow, this is the investment this university is making into the student athlete experience, like this is something different. That's no different there. That building is going to be a complete game changer. You know what I mean? So you can give all the young men, they can feel like they have all the resources to be their best version of themselves. So I had no idea about that. And then dealing with him, like again, I had no idea about Gus coming over. I had no idea about his background and how close we really were. He's like, oh yeah, you know, I called this guy about you. I called this guy. It's like, I had no idea. You know, I really had no idea. That just shows you how close you are. And then as I'm exploring this place, like I said, I walked by that sign over there because I couldn't get in that early in the morning because I didn't have an ID card. So I walk around the corner and it's like, hold up, let me count this right. Like, okay, that's like 15 in a row, and then there's like another 8 in a row of ACC championships. I'm like, good Lord, you know, you just truly don't know. You've always heard about Florida State and the greatness of it. And then I go upstairs and you see literally like all the draft choices, recent too, like all the high draft choices and stuff. I remember Jared Verse because I was at Syracuse and we tried to get him at Syracuse and I saw his career take off. I mean, it's just every day's a discovery, you know, every day's a discovery. But I will say that the people around this building, the people who care about this place is truly special. And you can feel that just with the hospitality and how everybody's been so nice and accommodating and wanting this place to be good. So got a lot of work to do.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Grateful for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.